and which will lead to higher conversion. However, remember that this is not a hack for metrics. Like, I know you're trying to startups have a valuation, they need to hit certain metrics. Don't incentivize people to do this because you want to increase your retention rate or engagement rate, like to hit a certain threshold. It's not gonna work, and it also make people um, unauthentically boost your numbers. And then next, you can follow us on Twitter, obviously, to increase your social media presence, right? And you can get creative with this. Like when a person you refer has bought you a beer. I mean, this will be hard to track, but just get creative. All kinds of things you can incentivize people to do, or give them rewards for actions that'll be in line with your business logics. Or even when the person you refer has become an employee of the company, you can give them a year worth of free free usage, unlimited spending rather. So yeah, just be creative and think of all kinds of things that'll help you out in terms of driving growth and furthering your business logic. So as you can see, the benefits of having this time interval or time credit will give you the power of using unlimited spending as a motivator, right? So what unlimited spending is that it's basically essentially using binging or as an incentive and a motivator. And what binging is just all you can eat. Just spend as much as you want given this time period. You have the freedom to do whatever you like. And this is followed up by actual evidence by Netflix. Um, the percentage of users that binge watch Netflix shows, I know I didn't write it here for some reason, but it's Netflix is 70%. This is done by a Deloitte survey, very recent, in March. So 70%, and in fact, I'd argue more than 70% if people actually have the luxury of time. Most people are going the other 30%. They're most likely constrained by time that they cannot binge watch, because any Netflix user or people who know people who use Netflix can tell you that binging, the freedom to consume as much as you would like, that is a really pleasant user experience, right? And we're using this as an incentive and a motivator. And I argue that is very, very strong and very, very capable of getting your growth goals achieved. And most importantly, these time rewards, time credits, it enables the compound and ecosystem reward. And next, it will more fluid transition between basic and premium plans. So let's say you have basic, you get the time credits, now you're updated to premium, and then next time you try the premium and you like it, you start paying for it, and then you can go recurring to bill for these time tokens instead. You can use that as a new different business model that instead of paying for this month, you would buy it for X amount of time tokens that you can use unlimitedly, right? That's much different than I'll pay $30 for this month. Instead, you can buy $15 for 10 days of unlimited usage, and then use all your need, finish it in the 10 days that you bought. And also the benefit is the flexibility and reward. Remember the chart we have here, all these actions are not going to be possible if you're just paying dollars. Like if you're paying dollars for people who are for any of these, like when a person you refer has been active for X period, like you're paying like $2, $1, that's just basically you're insulting your users, right? You don't want to use dollar amounts at all for all these. And the genius of and the brilliance of Dropbox is that they figured this out early on, that people don't want, if you want to incentivize people, don't incentivize them by throwing dollars, cents, or like micro units of money at people. That's just terrible user experience, and it doesn't, like, anybody with basic social etiquettes know that money, especially at those numbers, you tossing them around at people to get them to do things for you, just flat out insulting. So but I mean, it's a good incentive, it's a good gesture, but using money is not the way to do it, right? You do want to reward people for helping your business out. That's perfectly natural, perfectly fine. Just don't use tossing dollar bills at them or throwing quarters at them. That's just not the right way to do it. So having flexibility and reward with these time tokens, you're shifting it from money to something else, which is more valuable, and it gets rid of that whole psychological barrier. So it also has the benefit of the loss aversion principle. Once the user experiences the privilege and the access to these premium benefits during his usage of the time credits and tokens he earned, I would say both the loss aversion effects and gains kicks in. So the loss aversion obviously is that I'm afraid that when I tried all these benefits, I like it, but now I kind of don't want to lose it. I want to keep it going. And the gains effect is like I want to have more, or I want to get to the premium benefits stage and then get those privileges. And I've seen studies and suggest that this losses are basically twice as much effective as gains. So yeah, like I said here, some studies suggest that losses are as much as twice as psychologically powerful as gains. While I personally don't believe these studies for intangible effects, especially when they're not quantitatively measured, I don't hold them as universal truth at all. And I think there is no wrong, logically speaking, that you implement both loss aversion as well as gains effect. Since you don't know which one is going to be more effective than the other, there's nothing wrong with doing both, right? So you add them both as incentive motivators, which would make privileged users to invite more people in order to not lose the privilege. Or you can get them to decide that they might want to start paying, right? And also, this is important. In fact, I haven't seen many people do this at all. Since you have the data for each step of the referral cycle, right? It's already being tracked. Organize it. I would say organize it and display these data to your users. Nurture them into little pseudo growth marketers. Okay, give them the insights, the tutorials, the tools, the advice that are necessary, so they can do a better job at what they're already doing, which is referring your product. You might say these are just average people, and they're not going to be doing much, but you never know, right? There's no reason to not to. Just give them the insights, the tutorials, how to make good referrals, how to refer people without pissing them off, or send them invites in a friendly manner, or a manner which you explain the product well. You can teach them, give them advice to what time to send, all this stuff. Basically, you're getting free growth out of these people if you just nurture them into marketers, or not marketers, just make them do growth work, make them do a better growth work than what they're already doing, because they're already referring you anyways. Might as well equip them with the latest technology and the best tools to do a better job at what they're already doing. And I haven't seen anybody use it at all. I think this might be very important and could potentially give you extra surprise in terms of getting higher growth and referrals. So now we talk about all 4 of these, and finally the reimbursement period. So as you can see on the top right, the total spending reimbursed. It doesn't say how much price. It doesn't talk about what you cost. It doesn't say any money that you're gonna need to. We're gonna charge you. It says total spending reimbursed. So what is reimbursed? It's basically a period that all the spending the user has accrued during a specific interval of time that will be reimbursed at a cost of 0 to the user. So the user basically pays nothing at the end. They might spend $50,000 worth of your API or whatever service you offer, but at the end of the day they pay nothing. So this is going to be subsidized by the provider of the referral program and product. But you might think, why am I giving away this? Why am I using so much of our resources and money to subsidize, right? But if you think about it, it's basically completely equivalent to giving them a free trial financial wise. Free trial, a whole month for free. Is equivalent to spending, let's say, $50,000 worth of stuff for this a month and then paying nothing. It's basically the same thing, right? You're giving a free trial anyway, but you want to do it this way because the benefits I'll explain next. First of all, you'll have more control of the perceived value of your product. Again, I re-emphasize the importance of the perceived value because no one wants to refer a product as perceived crap, okay, or perceived low. You want it to be perceived high. People want to look good once they send their invites out, and then other people like the product you're sending out. That'll make you look better in front of them. That'll make you feel good about yourself that you're helping people out. But if it's lowly perceived value, no one's gonna do it. You don't see people referring cheap Android devices, but you always see people referring Apple iPhones. I don't like comparing the Apple stuff, but there is this concept does apply there. So building high perceived value is very important. In fact, it's more important than charging the right price, because when you have high perceived value, sometimes you can charge, you can have more control and demand what you want to charge. But if you try to figure out the right price, it's anybody who has startup is gonna know that charging the right price is difficult, and focusing on price is not going to be as important. And in fact, people don't buy on price; they buy on perceived value. If it's worth the value that's presented to me, then I'm going to pay, right? And a key thing about this reimbursement period style is that it removes the need for discount as the incentive. And why you don't want to use discount as incentive? Because discount lowers your perceived value. If you keep discounting, people are gonna think, okay, why is it discounting? Why is this being cheap before I even try to buy it? Why is it getting cheaper? When people talk about premium product or think about premium, they never think about, oh, I'm gonna buy it when it's on discount because it's cheap that way. People see premium product, they know the price, and then they will pay for it because it's highly perceived, so it demands a premium. And using the free trials, almost everybody uses free trials, especially for software as a service. I see it as a form of discounting, and if you think about it, it actually is. You're basically giving a month for free, and like I said, discounting is basically the fast lane to lower your perceived value. You're just gonna drop if you keep discounting, because you're lowering your value in the eyes of all your customers. So the key features of the reimbursement period is that the amount spent is being displayed on top.